college, and we went from there till we moved into the Heritage, which is not. It's. I hate to say our final resting place, but hopefully we'll be here for a long time, 20 years or so, and do lots of.
So that was married in 1956, and we're still together and here.
We have 3 children that live here and 2 that live in California. So we were spending our life going from Michigan to Chicago to California.
Visiting.
So now we eliminated one step. We see those 3 all the time. We spent yesterday with them. And the other 2 we see 3 or 4 or 5 times a year. They will be here. Well, they have a cottage in Michigan. We'll be going there for the 4th of July.
Northern Michigan, we'll be going up there and we'll see those California people up there.
But they're physicians, and so they come here for a lot of meetings. So we get to see them often. And we go to California. One year we went 6 times. But now we go always for the month of February, and we go for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yeah.
We switch off, the families. And we always have a big crowd at either place because there's cousins and sisters and things in California and here. So everybody comes.
Tell me about from when you guys first met. You guys told me the story of how you met in college. Start with that and tell me a little bit about that.
Well, her best friend was in high school, in college together.
She was my roommate in college.
Her roommate.
She was also my best friend all through high school.
And I was both in Michigan, but not too close in our colleges. And I had a good friend where I went to school in Michigan College.
A fraternity brother of his who was one of my really good friends in high school.
So he was a good friend of her friend, and they got us together that way, and we met each other and got going and eventually married.
What other important milestones are in the book of your book together?
Well, we lived in Japan for 2 years. It was a 2-year honeymoon.
You know, I was in the army then. There was no war going on. We were sent over there for 2 years, and it was just fantastic. It was just great.
Were you going with him when he was there?
We learned Japanese enough to get around.
It was after World War II, so a few years after. And Japanese people were so friendly with us, and it was just fun being there and seeing them all and seeing Japan.
And then we came home, and then we reunited with our families. But we were the first. I was the first one married in my family. So the first night that they came and saw us sleeping in the same bedroom, they were all still in college. Just couldn't. They couldn't believe it. And luckily, we had the 2 years, so we were able to put up with all that.
And I was the first one married in my family, because I had no brothers or sisters.
Any other important milestones that you guys put in the book that meant a lot to you?
There's so many things. We bought a cabin in the woods. We didn't want a lake. We had a lake place. And we went and got a woods, and we spent all summers, because Bob was the principal.
So I had summer off.
And so we left the day that he got out of school. We stayed the day till the day he went back. And we watched the stars. We did all kinds of teaching kinds of things, because we're both teachers. And we taught that they all can bake a pie from scratch. We would go out and pick the fruit. We picked all the fruit, all the farms around out in the country. And we knew nothing about farming or picking or anything like that. We're big city folks. So we taught them. We bought an antique pie chest kind of thing that held 50 pounds of flour and 10 pounds of sugar, and it was low. And also all the children knew how to roll out a pie, even the little ones. And we had a band. He played the string bass, which was tub, wash tub.
Oh, I first learned playing a real string bass.
Yeah.
As a kind of a hobby thing. And then got a wash tub, put a
2x4.
pole on it, and a string right down to the,
Well, 1x2 actually.
yeah, down to the tub, and you could pull on that string, it'd give you boom, 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 kind of a sound.
And all the kids played bongos and what do you call those things? Marimbas and triangles, all the things that are in a children's music thing. And I played the guitar and we sang. So we used to do that every night. Then we had the fire outside and had s'mores, of course. And then we would lay on our backs. I would sit there with a book and try to find the constellations. So we looked for the Big Dipper and all the constellations and try to teach them that. Now I'd get an iPad and I'd sit there and say, okay, everybody, look, this is where it is. And we know all the constellations.
Tell me about, you said your family is really interested in genealogy, so how your book will help them going forward.
Because they suddenly got interested in our family, and we don't know too much about our families. You know, we just sort of weren't interested, and nobody ever kept. So they just from all of the pictures, and because we're very family oriented, they saw the relatives a lot. They just wanted to know where we all came from, and his father and mother came from Greece and England. And mine came from Germany, although I think I'm the 7th generation in Detroit. And my mother came from Poland, but, you know, way back. And of course, in trying to find Poland, they changed countries. They changed the borders all the time. So they just got interested, and they all have computers, and they're very computer literate, and it relaxes them to do computer stuff. So now they're taking all the pictures and putting them on computers. And we did a picture every year of the children coming down these steps on Christmas morning. And first we have just me with one baby, and then the next one, and the next one, and then the dog, and so he took, and then we took too many pictures of them opening their presents. So he took all the film.
We had 5 children, and 4 boys and a girl. The only way we got a girl was a twin of one of the boys.
So we now have probably a 10-minute tape, starting with before they're born, all the way till they're about 18. And it takes, you know, like 10 minutes. It's just them coming down the steps. It's the same steps until we move. So that, you know, that's fun because they see themselves grow. But that's the kind of thing they're interested in doing. So I know that they'll go back to genealogy. They'll have a lot of children. They're very busy. 3 of them are physicians, and 1 works for Abbott. So our daughter's president of her company. So everybody has lots to do for the time being, but they'll have plenty of time when they get older to do that, and they're very interested in it. So we tried to put things in. What else did we put in? We put in, Bob has a book of his own. We put in everything that we could think of that they would be interested in, as opposed to us.
What we did together, and then our individual past history. We put that, my history, her history, put that information in the book.
If you want to take a look at our apartment, you can see what we look like. I'm not kidding, because it's horrible.
Full of photographs, almost. That's to put it together for the children, you know. Eventually we'll get that all tidied up when it's done.
Somebody will be here. We have company coming in the end of July, so I've got to be done by then. And we're having so much fun doing it, and it's all because of this. I probably would have just passed on these envelopes full of pictures that weren't even in any way. I didn't even put the year on the outside of the envelope. So it teaches you, and it'll teach them. They put this on a computer immediately. They're much more organized than we were.
Well, we didn't grow up with computers like they do.
Yeah.